Howdy, boys and girls. It is week 3 of the college football season, and for some unknown reason, you have decided to join us once again here on the Carla and Crappy Show. Maybe it's because we were kind of right about some stuff last week. I'm not sure how that happened. Anyway, I'm Crappy. I'm here in my home studio in the Brighton Heights neighborhood of Pittsburgh. Hey, there's Carla.
Yep.
In her home studio in Nashville, Tennessee,
Yes.
home of the 2-0 Nashville Vanderbilt Commodores. By the way,
Absolutely. Anchor down, baby.
Something we will probably talk about. I have to check in. I know this might be a touchy subject, Carla, but is your husband okay?
Yeah, I think. Mostly because we were trying to eat dinner at the end of that game, so we didn't watch it play by play. But oh boy, who is jumping firmly off of the Florida bandwagon this week? Me.
Okay.
It me.
Again.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But
yes, we will. Yes, we will.
But yeah, no, that was tough. Because we had the TV on, we were in the dining room eating dinner, and I heard announcers going crazy, and then something just happened, and David gets up and he looks and he just sour face comes back and sits down. I said, "Oh, USF figured out a way to win that game, didn't they?" And he said, "Yep, they just kicked the walk off."
Oh, man. I mean, we've all been there, but
Yep.
Please offer him our best wishes.
Which is a shame because the rest of the week of football was so good.
It was.
There were so many good games, and then to have that happen, it was just like, oh.
Our third person, the country's foremost group of 5 college football expert, AJ Kuftik, is not in his home studio, clear on the other side of Pittsburgh. You're where again?
Deep in the heart of Texas.
I'm sorry.
I'm at a conference in Dallas. I mentioned a little bit of this last week. There was a Longhorn statue. His name is Hank. And I walked past him on the way to dinner, and immediate horns down. My hand just did it. I couldn't
just
stop myself from doing it. It just was an inadvertent act. And my coworker was like, "Why did you do that?" I'm like, "I had to let him know." And then there was just more confusion. I said nothing else about that. This is a fun thing. This is just for me, just as a business pro tip. If you get into the sales or you're doing work travel, that sort of stuff, having a deep and wide knowledge of college football gives you an incredible conversation starter.
Yes.
With basically everybody. I want to shout out the 2 different Iowa fans that I met who were like, "Oh, I'm from Iowa." And the first thing I say every time I meet somebody from Iowa, Hawkeye or Cyclone? And they were both like, "Hawkeye." And they got real mad.
Yeah.
This one lady goes, "And here's the worst part. My nephews went to school with the Iowa State kicker who kicked the field goal. He's the nicest kid ever. And he did the meanest thing to me." And I was like, you know what? I'm sorry he did that.
Yes.
And you can feel mean to him because of what he did on a football field, not because of who he is as a person. You can do that. It's okay. Also, I'm sorry you had to deal with Brian Ferentz. And every single Iowa fan I've ever said that to goes, "It didn't get better." So I love that.
Yeah.
And I talked to a Penn State fan today, and people go, because I talk about college football. I bet people from literally the Ohio State University while I was here. And everybody goes, "Well, who's your team?" I was like, "Oh, Hawaii." And everybody goes, "What? Hawaii? Huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Hawaii football, my beloved Bows." And they were like, "What?" And it's amazing to explain Hawaii football to people over and over again. I do it all the time.
That'd be a great conversation starter, and a really cool thing to be able to dig into. So that's fantastic. We appreciate you representing the Carla and Crappy Show on not an international level, but
we got to get back on the merch.
Texas is a whole other country.
It's fine.
Texas is a whole other country. So yeah, there we go.
And we got to get back on the merch thing. If you're going to rep the show, we got to get back on the merch thing so that you can wear actual merch.
I was wearing work merch, so it's hard to rep. It's hard to rep the show. But I actually said to multiple people, I was like, "Oh, what are you doing after this?" "Oh, I'm going back to my room and I'm recording a podcast with my friends." I told them what it was. So I was like, "Hey, hope you all listen.
Okay.
You heard me. You heard me
Thanks.
do work talk today. Now you get to hear me do football talk. It's the same thing."
Well, I mean, so there's our in. As we do, we typically take a look back before we look ahead to this week's games. And AJ, you just walked right into this. You should go ahead and go first. What did what captured your attention in last weekend's games?
I mean, there was a lot of big number against little number scores.
A lot
out
of that.
there.
A lot of
A
that.
whole lot of them. I am sad that I missed the Baylor SMU game because the score looks insane. I was also kind of surprised. I watched the end of the USF Florida game and I went, no, oh, they did it. Oh no, the game that stuck out to me the most, Mississippi State over Arizona State. Klanga got up for that game. Let's talk about a few things here. Number one, and I realize I'm crinkling my paper right in front of the microphone. Mississippi State as a like fan base got up for that game. They got excited to have a ranked team come into town. Those cowbells were so loud. They were louder than even regular SEC games that we see. Arizona State looked rough to start. Like Mississippi State had that game in control, and it looked like we were going to see the usual format of Mississippi State football, which is, oh, everything's going well, then it doesn't.
Right.
And they were almost going to fart away that game. And I don't remember who the defensive coordinator is for Arizona State, but not having a safety back there was a bad choice. The ref is not a safety. And
As much as you'd like him to
they
be.
immediately broke it down on the coverage on the broadcast, and they were like, there was a safety and there was a corner, and there was clearly a crossing route to like get the defenders to like force a switch, and they didn't know what to do, and they both went to the lower guy, and the guy running deep got open and scored the game-winning touchdown, and they had honestly the literal next drive, Arizona State comes out and throws an immediate pick and ends the game. Mississippi State, I know that this doesn't happen often. You have to let the students take the goalposts down. You can't pre-take them down and immediately let them pick them up. Like the teams hadn't left the field and the students were already trying to leave the stadium with one of the goalposts. There's actually a picture of Arizona State going into the locker room and the goalposts are being carried in by the students behind them. Like you gotta let them. You gotta let them have the moment. You can't just let them immediately. I know that they yearn for water, and there's a lake across the street from the stadium, but you cannot just let them immediately do that. Give them. You gotta let it build, man.
In fairness, it's tough to act like you've been there before if you haven't been there before.
They haven't been.
So you can understand a rookie mistake or two.
Yeah, I think this was okay. A lot of the stuff, remember, we said don't overreact about week one. Hey, if you your team looked a little rough, they looked a little bit better. There was at one point we saw middle was only behind by 4 on Wisconsin, and Ohio was up on West Virginia. Like our podcast was sitting there going like, is everything happening all at once right now? And then Ohio did the thing, and then Middle didn't. Nope. And finally, my beloved Bows took care of business against Sam Houston. Luke Weaver, the backup for Micah Alejado, looked great.
I saw the numbers. Really sounded like an impressive day on paper, at least.
Yeah, they looked really good. Marched right down the field on their first drive, scored a touchdown. It looked a lot better than how they played against Arizona. It looked a lot better than they played against Stanford. And this is a school that is somewhat at their level, and they won by 17. So looking good for my Bows. They're 2-1. Okay. 2-1 Bows in week 3, or going into week 3. This is great.
It's fantastic.
We could probably find 4 more wins on the schedule. We need a bowl game, Timmy. That's the promised land. These two are looking for national titles. I'm not looking for national titles. I'm looking for the the Sheridan Hawaii Bowl. Sure. I'm looking for you guys. I would love Hawaii in the famous Potato Bowl. That would be great too.
That would be awesome.
Way, like, can we get Hawaii to a proper bowl game? That's all I want.
Okay.
That's a successful season in Hawaii. Set your expectations properly and you're good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Carla, we've kind of touched on middle.
Yeah.
We have certainly brought up the disaster in your household that is the Florida Gators.
Yes.
What else? Or if you want to elaborate on those, please do. What got your attention last weekend?
Well, let me give a quick shout out to Middle. Kudos to them for keeping that game interesting in the first half. They came out ready to play, which was way more than I was expecting, to be perfectly honest, after the way they just kind of laid an egg against Austin Peay the week before. They made a couple of mistakes, which you can't do when you're playing higher level competition. A couple of really bad errors. Of course, Wisconsin did what they're supposed to do and capitalized on them. And then at that point, the game is over, right? So, but kudos to coach for getting them ready to go for that game, because they really did look good in the first half. I was impressed. I actually have some hope. They are at Nevada this week, and then they get Marshall at home. Marshall, who lost to Missouri State on Saturday. Missouri State picking up their first ever FBS win. Missouri State also in the CUSA, so that gives me some hope for homecoming. If Missouri State can do it, can Middle do it at home for homecoming? That makes me feel good. Okay. Also, since we're in CUSA world for a moment, may I give a tip of the? I'm sorry, friends, I'm drinking water tonight because my daughter gave me her cough, as I'm sure you can hear.
That looks like vodka, actually.
Okay, sure. I'm drinking straight vodka.
All right,
there we go.
As long as we got that straight.
Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State, you did the dang thing. Cheers to you, friends. That's the only time I do that all season, because we are rivals in CUSA. But cheers to Jacksonville State for a nice win. That AJ talked about last week and said pay attention to that game. So yeah, that was another good one. The border war was delightful. That game was a lot of fun. Bo Pribula just flat out balled, which we knew he was capable of doing, but he just took that spotlight and just absolutely ran with it. And it was a glorious thing. Cyhawk was the rock fight we all expected. Oklahoma put away Michigan. I had that game in my quad box because I had to listen to something, because I couldn't listen to Mississippi State because it was so freaking loud on the TV. Yeah. I couldn't hear anything. So I had it in my quad box, so I didn't have to listen to it. And I was listening to the ESPN call, or the ABC call, on Oklahoma, Michigan. Oklahoma pitched a shutout in the first half.
Yeah.
Michigan defense gave up more than 400 yards. Bryce Underwood, 9 of 24. That's not going to get it done. So that was a big fat lay of an egg for Michigan, for sure, in Norman. Now, we knew that was going to be a tough game. I was not expecting those kind of numbers out of Michigan, though. So that's something to keep an eye on. And the thing that I got very wrong last week, there was absolutely no need to watch Oregon, Oklahoma State.
No. None.
That game ended 69-3 or something like that.
That was the exact score. Yes.
Is Mike Gundy on the hot seat? Why are we not talking about this?
Nope.
I wouldn't think. I don't know.
No. Somebody actually, I saw this, and it was from an Oklahoma State homer. But the thing that people forget is Mike Gundy was the quarterback on the Barry Sanders Oklahoma State teams. Every time Oklahoma State has been good of any kind, Mike Gundy's been involved. Yeah, okay. He's reached Ferentz level coaching protection. He can have down years, and no one they'll call for his job, but who's going to get rid of him? Yeah. He doesn't have T-Boone behind him anymore to be able to just bankroll and tell people to shut up, he's fine. Yeah. But he is all but at statue level as a coach at a school. And if they were to fire him, I would be mostly surprised. Just in terms of it feels like it's one of those mutual departure situations where it's we're firing you. We're not going to tell anybody we're firing you. We're just saying, hey, we've mutually decided to part ways, etc. We're firing you and you're going to accept that. And I accept that. Sure. Great. But but I don't see them saying like, okay, no, you got to get out of here. Just because like it's really hard to look at what he has done over a reminder that he was in his like third season, I think, when he did the "Come After Me, I'm a Man, I'm 40."
I'm
That's
40,
Mike
yes.
Gundy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
And that was
58
that was
now,
a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
right? He has been the head coach at Oklahoma State for 18 years. I'm putting that out there. Plus, he was the quarterback during the Barry Sanders years. Like he is institutional to that football program.
Right.
So getting rid of him is like, this is where it's almost like it feels like the end of the Bobby Bowden era, where like Florida State's like, all right, okay, we've done this enough.
Mac Brown at Texas.
Yeah.
Right. You're hitting that like, okay, you were here for the good years, but the good years aren't here anymore. So we need to move on, do something different, do something better. And especially now with the law, like Texas and Oklahoma aren't there anymore.
Right.
The Big 12 is as open as it can be. And in the first year of it being that open, you fell to the literal bottom.
Yeah.
And then now, like coming out this year, they don't look that great either. So this becomes a like talent acquisition. Is it the coaching, whatever that might be, in order to be more successful as a program? So I don't think he's on the hot seat. It would be one of those things where it's like, okay, the administration feels the need to move on if the boosters can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's what I saw this last weekend.
Okay.
Crap, did you see anything happen?
I was at my parents' house. I was which is screen limiting. So I didn't get to see as much as I normally would. I'm going to stick to my two primary rooting interests, and I'm not going to. There's nothing really to break down about Ohio State Clemson. I want to mention apparently Ohio State fans kept their butts in the seats at halftime, so they could see the world famed Tiger Marching Band. Credit to them for that. That is absolutely the right call. The cool thing about the game was being able to see some of the depth that Ohio State has. Two names for you. Bo Jackson, who is not related to Bo Jackson. His name is actually Lamar Jackson, except he's not related to Lamar Jackson. He is, in fact, a tailback from Cleveland who looks complete as a true freshman. Top to bottom, ran for over 100 yards just in the second half, just in his limited playing time.
Hold on.
Yeah, please.
I got to put a timeout on this.
Please do.
He didn't want to go by Lamar Jackson, so he wouldn't get confused with that one. So he said, "I'll go by the other great Jackson football player's name."
Apparently, he is Lamar Jackson Jr. His father is Lamar Jackson Sr. Lamar Jackson Sr. was a big fan of the more famous Bo Jackson. So Bo Jackson, the Ohio State tailback, has been called Bo Jackson his whole life. So I hope that clears things up.
Sure.
Okay.
It doesn't, and it's
Clear as
hilarious. But,
Clear as
but
mud.
who else did you see?
I did. The other kid from Texas, linebacker Riley Pettijohn. He was a total freaking wrecking ball in the second half. 2 tackles, a forced fumble, a pass defensed, and a second fumble that he scooped and returned for a touchdown. Again, true freshman kid is going to be beastly, and I think they're not the only ones who kind of put themselves in this position, but they will see playing time as we go deeper into the season. The other game, of course, in Athens, Ohio.
Fly that dang flag.
There we
You
go.
actually have the flag?
Of course I have the flag.
Fly
For
the dang
those
flag.
for those of you who are listening, I just flew the Mac Pirate flag, which is to be waved when a Mac sports team. This is a football show, so that's what we're talking about. Upsets a team that ostensibly should have won the football game. And let me tell you, Power 4 programs, you come to Athens, Ohio at your own risk. Ask Pitt, ask Iowa State from a couple years ago, and certainly right now, ask the West Virginia Mountaineers. This game was not pretty. Parker Navarro is like he epitomizes the term playing with your hair on fire. If you're trying to describe his playing style, 22 of 31, not bad. 1 TD, okay. 3 picks. And then he added 87 yards rushing, but he's an incredible pain in the ass to defend, as we've been talking all season. And I couldn't be happier that he is my incredible pain in the ass to defend. I found this. This is an interesting thing. Before the season started, Heather Dinich at ESPN wrote a thing about kind of playoff bubble teams. Obviously focusing on the big boys, but there was a lot of information about who's going to get the G5 bid. And she mentioned Boise at that point. That was before Boise, South Florida. She mentioned Tulane. Apparently, OU was the 10th most likely, according to ESPN Analytics, the 10th had the 10th best chance to reach the playoffs among G5 teams. And that was with the assumption that they would lose all 3 of the first games. To recap, that would be at Rutgers, West Virginia at home, and next weekend's game in Columbus. I'm going to look. I want to see. I'm going to be super curious to find out where they stand on that list after the WVU win. To add a Power 4 win into that mix. Maybe there's a chance. I don't know, but I enjoyed the hell out of that game. Watching it on my laptop while everybody in the house was watching Ohio State dismantle Grambling, and I could not be happier to maintain the OU's reputation as being a tough out at home. Okay, we have good stuff this weekend too. Some ranked matchups. Some ranked matchups that are going to be on weird places on your television. This is something that we pushed this a year ago when I don't remember what the game was, but something showed up on the CW and we're like, figure out where it is. Figure it out where it is, kids, because you don't want to be scrambling. And this week, you really, really don't. You really don't want to be without that. So make sure you know what you're doing, where all the channels are. We will help you with our normal preview stuff here. But if you guys ready, let's start with the games that AJ that you are going to be interested in at G5 or various other football that may or may not be happening after dark. What you got?
So I actually want to start on Friday night. Mm-hmm. We got K-State at Arizona. Mm-hmm. This has potential to be really good. And when I first looked at it, I did the thing that everybody does. And I'm like, ooh, that's a really fun non-con match. No, it's not. That's a Big 12 game. Sorry. That's a conference game. K-State lost to Army at home. We got an 0-2 Power Cats. And this is, I think, where either Kansas can get it together and show something, mm-hmm. or this is where it all really falls apart. Arizona looked great, beating the absolute lights out of my Bows. Mm-hmm. It was really interesting because last year they had Taro McMillan as a wide receiver. And Noah Fafita basically was like, I'm throwing the ball to that guy. That's it. That's the offense. Noah Fafita throws the ball to Taro McMillan, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And in the first game of the season, McMillan had 4 touchdowns. It was like the most absurd stat line ever. And then every defense went, oh, that's the offense? Got it. And shut them down basically for the rest of the year because none of the other receivers were any good. Mm-hmm. Taro McMillan's playing on Sundays now. So now Fafita actually spreads the ball around, and they looked really dangerous against Hawaii. Like, they were all over the place. They have a better running game now. Like, it's not all on Fafita to throw the ball to one particular guy. Mm-hmm. K-State's favored by 1.5 on the road in Arizona at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
That doesn't sound right. That does not sound right.
No, I would say take Arizona here. Arizona looked... Again, it was against Hawaii on the mainland. That is a caveat of caveats. But when I see like what I saw from Arizona looked really, really good. They looked very confident.
Mhm.
Overall, their defense looked really confident, and
Mhm.
so I can see that being something really, really good. So I would keep an eye on that game. Um, we're going to actually move into Saturday, and because I'm in Central Time right now, all of ESPN's games are in Central Time.
Mhm.
It's driving me slowly crazy because I'm like, this is the news slate. It's like, no, all these games that they start at 11 a.m. and that's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Okay,
Welcome to my world.
I know. Um, I do want to point this one out. Oklahoma goes
Mhm.
out. They beat the brakes off of Michigan.
Mhm.
Nationally televised game. Everybody's excited. You know where Oklahoma's playing this week?
I do not.
At noon on ESPN2. They are traveling to the great city of Philadelphia to play Temple.
Huh.
They signed an actual home and home with Temple. Temple went to Oklahoma last year, got the lights beaten out of them, and Oklahoma is actually going to go to Philly and play at the link.
Okay.
So
I,
if you're an Oklahoma fan in the Acela, like in the Amtrak Acela corridor, go watch you some Oklahoma football in Philly. Oklahoma's favored by 23.5. We don't need to discuss anything further about that game. I just wanted to point out that Oklahoma's playing at Temple. That's all.
okay. Okay.
We also have, where was the game that I really wanted to point out? Villanova's playing at Penn State. Carla, you don't need to talk deeply about this game. We're not going
You're
to
right.
talk about this game, right?
Nope.
But it came up that Villanova, if you search Villanova Penn State, Google's AI overview
Hmm.
would tell you the score of the game that had already happened. I believe it's 37 to 38 to 10. Penn State wins,
I was surprised
according
that
to
Nova
Google's
had
AI
scored
overview.
as much as it did.
Sure. So I decided to go on a little bit of an odyssey to figure out, like, okay, what would this have come from? Like, where would this number have even come from for it to try to predict that out? And it turns out Villanova played Penn State back in 2021. Penn State won 38 to 17, I think. And so it was like, okay, I could see where you would try to predict the score based on a previous game, etc.
Mhm.
But one of the sources was Villanova's website. If you go to Villanova's website, it says that Villanova is 4-1 all time against Penn State. And I went, how?
In
Like
what
maybe
sport?
this is in football. And
Oh,
it was one of those things where it was like, okay, is this one of those things where like Penn State was bad back in like the 30s and that's when they played football last? Sure, I can see that. No, there were games on there from like the 2013, 2014. I'm like, okay, I know that Penn State was in a like a weird doldrum thing, but not that bad. And then I noticed the locations, and Villanova's own website conflates Penn and Penn State.
oh.
They are 4-0 against Penn, but Villanova's website in their like comparison or like historical records has Penn State being part of that. So yeah, that's very funny. I found that out kind of randomly after that. That game's happening. You can watch that game. It'll be on FS1. Um, Oregon State at Texas Tech. I love you, Beavers, for scheduling weird games and going to the moon, aka Lubbock. This is at 2:30 on Fox. Texas Tech is favored by 23.5. Oregon State has looked bad. I've watched both Oregon State games so far this year. They have not looked very good. Malik Murphy is trying his best, but it ain't it. He's fighting for his life. That O line got ripped apart by the transfer portal, and it's just not the same thing. So I love our Beavs. I would love nothing more than for them to go into Lubbock and come out with a win. It's probably not happening.
Yeah.
So that'll be on Fox. Um, it's a game happening in Morgantown. We'll talk about that probably.
Morgantown. That's
Uh,
sounds
a friend,
familiar.
one of my
Sounds familiar.
one of my coworkers is an Arkansas fan,
Mhm.
and I said, "Hey, why? I'm glad that you guys finally played Arkansas State. Been running from them for like 100 years, cowards." And he said, "Based on that game, I don't ever want to play them again. No thanks, not at all. Nope. That did not feel good in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to play them again." I'm like, "You should play them every year." He's like, "Nope, nope. We already play an SEC schedule. I don't need to add a G5 pain in the ass team to the schedule." And I was like, "You know what? I respect that, but you're still a coward." Um, do we have anything? I'm going to slide down to the late night slate because I don't think we have anything super fun in the. Oh, sorry, one banger, 7 p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern on ESPN Plus. App State at Southern Miss.
Fun.
Ooh,
That will be fun.
Yeah.
Sun Belt Conference game. App State's favored by 2.5. The Fun Index is 56.5. They are kicking it in Hattiesburg. I would absolutely put that on a quad box of some kind. You might have to go into the ESPN app to do that. It's kind of clunky in which to do that. ESPN kind of ruined their app when they rolled out their new one of all the stuff they're doing. So I think that's fun. I need to talk about one game, though, that's on the schedule here. It's 7:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. We have UMass going to Iowa. Iowa is favored by 35.5. I don't think they can score 35. I just want to put that out there. Mark Gronowski looks terrible.
He really, really has. The bit we watched all of Cyhawk, and the other highlights I've seen, he looks uncomfortable. He does not look like he's got a grasp of the offense. It's not pretty.
You were the national title winning quarterback for South Dakota State multiple times, and you come to the FBS and you look like you've just found out what football was. Like, it is not good. And Iowa is going to be successful because they actually have a good offensive line, surprise, and they have really good running backs. And he can hand that ball off. But if anybody stops that rushing attack and you make Mark Gronowski beat you, he will not be doing that. Sorry. There was a lot of hope with him coming in because they're like, oh, he's actually good as a quarterback. He's going to come in and he's going to be, and he's just not been. He's missing throws. It's just been bad. I don't think they will even hit the spread just because even if they shut out UMass, they won't score enough to actually hit it. That'll be a fun one to watch. Duke at Tulane. Oh, thank you, Duke. Thank you for scheduling a good G5 game. This is in New Orleans at Ullman.
Ooh, wow.
So
okay.
another P4 team is going to go to Ullman. Ask Northwestern how this went. Tulane escaped against
Let
South
them wear
Alabama.
white if they want to.
Yeah, if they want to wear white, just say it's okay. Just say it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. This is the return game for Duke quarterback Darian Mensah, who was the quarterback for Tulane last year.
Right.
He transferred to Duke, and he's immediately coming back. The script writers are doing a little too much on the nose. Duke is favored by 1.5. Fun Index is 54.5. Roll wave. They will get up for this game to show that they can beat a P4 team. They want to be the clear G5 team, the way that Boise was last year. I think they can do it. We talked about how will Burt get petty. He sure did. And dumped 45 on Duke last week. I think Tulane will try to do the same thing, try to put a stamp on their season, because then the rest of the season is the American. So if they can get 2 P4 wins out of their non-con schedule, they will absolutely try to do that. So I think they'll get up for this game.
They need to be able to keep up with the Bobcats as well. So there's that.
Yes. Oh, of course. 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. We have the Golden Gophers of Minnesota going to Cal. They're playing at Berkeley. I love this. I love PJ Fleck is going to the West Coast. You're going to row the boat across the Pacific Ocean. Minnesota's favored by 1.5. Fun Index is a paltry 42.5. This is night time. This is put this on and just let Minnesota and Cal tuck you in and put you to bed, because this is not going to be exciting to watch, most likely. Cal doing better than I thought they would. They had mass transfers out of the program. They're doing well. Justin Wilcox is actually a very good coach. They have a very, very good coaching staff, a very good program. They just don't have the ability to really bring in the level of talent I think they want to, and nor the money with which to keep them. So I think they are going to be a transitory program for the long run. But Minnesota scheduling a non-con game against Cal is awesome. I love this. You should put your eyeballs on this game.
That is the Sandra Boynton game. Sandra Boynton, being the children's book author, wrote this book called The Going to Bed Book. I know this because I read it to Ellie almost every night. And the last page is, the moon is high, the sea is deep. They rock and rock and rock to sleep.
How do you get rocked to sleep?
Watching PJ Fleck. And
hey, listen, where are you when you're getting rocked to sleep by the sea? In a boat.
Exactly. It's about a boat. They're on a boat. Yeah. The moon is high, the sea is deep. They rock and rock and rock to sleep. Yes.
My head just
Row the
boat.
exploded. My head just exploded.
I'm on a
Row the
boat.
boat. At 9:30, we have to. I'm sorry. We have Boston College at Stanford on the ACC network at 10:30 p.m. My fellow sickos, let's ride.
Yes.
Boston College is favored by 12 and a half. The Fun Index is 44 and a half. ACC network after dark. Let's go. Oh man, you thought the Pac-12 network got weird? The tactical commercials of the ACC network will bring
Yes.
us to
Yes.
will bring us to a better society. Um, Boston College looks pretty good. Stanford looks real bad. So, congrats on all of those airline miles, Boston College. I hope you put them to good use for future vacations. At 10:30 p.m. on TNT or True TV or HBO Max, all three of those are listed as possible television options. Again, it is not just March Madness where you will need to find True TV.
Yep.
We have Texas State at Arizona State. Arizona State is going to be mad. They're going to be real upset that they dropped that game to Mississippi State. They are favored by 16 and a half. I expect them to cover. Kenny gonna go crazy. But
Okay.
Texas State is fun. The fun index is 59 and a half. This has potential to be a late night points explosion. So if you're watching Boston College or Minnesota Cal and you're getting too beepy, you can put on Texas State at Arizona State and let the points. That's where all the points actually go. It's like a zero sum game, and the points just go like they move around. And some games give more points than others.
Sure.
And maybe last week we spent too many points, so you might not see too many points this week.
I think probably, yeah.
That's how this goes. And finally, my beloved Bows are at home against Portland State. Portland State is not a good FCS team. Welcome to the island. Enjoy that L on the way back. 3-1 Bows, leaving week 3. Also, if you wanted to watch Hawaii football with me on your television, you can't. That whole thing where like it's free or it's going to be in the Mountain West app, it is specifically in the Mountain West app. You cannot watch it in a web browser unless you sign in with a Spectrum account, and then you get access to it. If your Spectrum plan includes the Spectrum local channels, you will get that one too for some reason.
Okay.
So I was able to watch the Hawaii game on my desktop, but I had many friends who were like, I have YouTube TV. It won't let me sign in. This is stupid. And you had to download it and watch it on your phone. And unlike the beloved Team One Sports app, you can't share a link to yourself to watch it on your desktop. So we are in a weird limbo state with Hawaii football on our televisions, but we were able to watch it last week and we watch it again this week. And I don't even have to get up early for a flight. I watched until 3 a.m. and then I had to get up at 8 a.m. to go to the airport.
Oh, God.
It was bad.
Oh, that sounds painful.
It was fine. Listen, I watched my Bows get a W. It was fine. If they had lost, I would have been real upset. But
True. At that point, you just stay up and be angry for the trip. Okay.
Good group of five after dark feelings this week. But there are some other games we need to talk about.
There are some other games we need to talk about. Some legit big boy games, as we mentioned. A rivalry game. And some other fun stuff. These are all Saturday games, and we're going to start at noon with a couple good ones in the early slate. On ESPN, number 12, Clemson at Georgia Tech. Clemson is favored by 3.5 points. The AJ Fun Index is 54.5. Carla, what do you think about this one?
Check that line, friends. 3.5.
3.5.
3.5. Clemson is favored barely. And here's what's interesting. Their line opened at 6.5. And it's now down substantially over just a couple of days because we're recording this on Tuesdays like we normally do. So this game's super intriguing. Like we pegged this game a couple weeks ago, and I still think this is one of the more intriguing games that we're going to see on Saturday. Clemson's going to throw the football. Like, duh. They've got Cade Klubnik. He's a good quarterback. That's well established at this point. Georgia Tech so far this year, though, they've been a point scoring machine. They've been finishing drives, which is something that they couldn't necessarily do last year, but they want to run the football. They are all about the ground game. Clemson's rush defense so far, though, has been pretty solid, which is going to be a challenge here. Clemson's defense has only allowed fewer than 100 yards per game on the ground so far this year. I didn't pick this game when I was writing my notes, right? Because I really I'm torn on this one because Georgia Tech's playing at home. They're going to be up for this game. And Clemson looks good. Georgia Tech looks good. Is this an opportunity for Clemson to slip up again? I think if Georgia Tech gets up like they did for the Georgia game last year, this could potentially be a game that Georgia Tech takes it. Let's play the long game here, friends, and eventually beat them down. But I think because of the way that the Clemson rush defense has played so far this year, I think they're going to be able to bottle up that Georgia Tech offense enough to be able to get the win. But this game is close, friends. This is one you absolutely need to watch.
AJ, what do you think?
As soon as I saw this, and I was like, oh, at Georgia Tech, I was taking the Bees because Clemson played with their food real hard last week against Troy.
Yeah, they did.
Troy was leading at halftime, and it wasn't great. They basically flipped the script in the second half. Clemson came out. They basically held Troy to nothing, and they won. But they played with their food a lot last week. Mm-hmm. You cannot do that against Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech wants to put you into the meat grinder over and over and over again. I'm taking the Bees at home because I think Clemson thinks they're going to steamroll their schedule. What I saw from the Troy game last week. It looked like, who are these guys? We're not going to do that. And I think this is a Brent Key wants a signature win on his program. And I think this is the place in which he can do that. He almost got it last year against Kirby. I think he'll get it this time with Clemson. Give me the Bees.
Okay. There's certainly no shame in losing to LSU, even at home. That is a tough matchup for anybody. The game against Troy, however, I don't know what it is. I can't think it's a lack of talent. They are experienced. They've been playing together forever because Debo doesn't do the portal thing a whole lot. But they just against Troy, if it was mental, maybe that's something that you can fix. If it's not, I mean, they're 75th in total yardage defense. Clemson is 56th in scoring defense. It's not bad, but I would expect more from a team with this experience. We've talked about this. Tech is a legit sleeper pick in the ACC. It's similar kind of setup. They've been together for a long time. They do what they do very, very well. Can they out physical Clemson? Maybe. Can they pick up some energy from playing in Bobby Dodd and in a game that would be a legit signature win for that program? Absolutely. And I agree. They are the Yellow Jackets are going to beat Clemson at home on Saturday, and we will be talking about Clemson more. Clemsoning? Would this be a Clemsoning? I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Depends on how they lose.
Good point.
Like if they pull out and have a first half lead and then squander it away in the second, then yes, absolutely, that is a prime conditioning for Clemsoning.
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
I hope you're both right, by the way. I really want to see Georgia Tech win that game. I'm not quite there yet, but hopefully this week changes my mind. Okay.
Next up, also at noon, this time on ABC, Wisconsin at number 9, Alabama. Bama is favored by 21.5, and the AJ Fun Index is a not so fun 46.5. AJ, what do you think?
I cannot think of too many recent coaching. Actually, I could think of a few recent coaching hires, but Luke Fickell going to Wisconsin seemed like a no-brainer.
Yep.
And then everyone discovered that it was a no-brainer because there's not been a bunch of thought put into it. They have not been Wisconsin. They've just not been. They don't look like who they are. They have no disrespect to middle, but they've played down to competition a lot recently. Um, they just haven't looked very good. They just look fine. And this Alabama team, I think, is losing to Florida State in week 1. They are going to want to put the absolute hands to faces against Wisconsin. They want to get back to where they were. Like, yeah, you beat ULM by like a lot. Sure. Okay, fine. Shout out to Joey from the Sickos Committee who played the NCAA game with ULM against Alabama in Bryant-Denny and said, I'm not stopping until I beat ULM or until I beat Bama as ULM.
Yeah.
It took him 20 tries to do it, and it was a 13-hour stream. He is a maniac for that. But this was the sort of like, okay, here's how we're doing everything. Here's how this is all going to work. And I just don't see Wisconsin. I don't see Wisconsin showing up. This game is over by halftime. I'm saying that right now. I'm sorry, Wisconsin fans, but Alabama's you're going to Bryant-Denny, and you're going to find out just how good the snacks are at halftime because it's going to be a long one for you.
Snacks.
Give me Bama.
Carla?
So I'm the one that requested that we talk about this game because to me, when I saw this, I went, this is the which coach ends up squarely on the hot seat after losing this game.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Because this is another test for Kalen DeBoer because he's at home against a name brand Big Ten school, right? Like, I agree with AJ's assessment. Bama is the better team here by a long shot, as the line indicates. But another poor performance by the Tide against a big brand school, things are going to get spicy and loose, right? Like, Kalen DeBoer doesn't have to just beat Wisconsin. He has to beat Wisconsin. Right? I really believe that with
under the state. He's got to beat them until they're under the stadium.
Yeah, pretty much. To be able to win back the trust of his fan base and his school, right? Likewise, if Wisconsin can't keep this game somewhat competitive, things may start to heat up around Luke Fickell again, right? Because what does the Big Ten want? They want to, at least, even if it's a down year for a team, you want to look competitive against SEC schools.
Yes, you do.
Right? So I do feel like Luke has a little bit more room to breathe right now, though. He's kind of like, we're not feeling the pressure around him yet. This might change things. Although Bama being ranked, Wisconsin not, he might get the luxury of some time, even if they lose this game. But if they lose this game badly, I would expect that temperature to be turned up. Bama wins this game. It'll be really curious. I'll be really curious to see by how much and how the dynamics of this game play out. But sorry, Big Ten, this is a check mark for the SEC.
Yeah. I wondered about where this game was being played. This is a home and home that started in Madison a year ago. I wondered if maybe if this game was in Madison and Alabama, are they reeling? Are they? They're clearly not as bad as they looked against Florida State. And the more I thought about it, I'm not sure that it matters. I hate to say this about Luke Fickell, but Wisconsin is stuck in this cycle of perpetual rebuilding. I think there are 2 new coordinators. I know there's at least one offensive coordinator this season. You can't. There's got to be some progress to justify what you're doing, and I just, AJ, as you said, just don't see it. This is going to be whether or not maybe this game is a little more interesting if it's in Madison. I don't know, but in Bryant-Denny, this will be I think a fairly comfortable win for Alabama. And we'll see what kind of pressure happens with Luke Fickell and how he's going to deal with it. Yeah.
Luke Fickell is in his 3rd season. He has a new OC. It's Jeff Grimes. But his defensive coordinator is Mike Tressel. Yes, that Tressel.
Yes, right.
In his 3rd season. So he came in with Luke in 2023. So we're entering kind of that point of, I guess I would call it pre-portal. coaching hires where like this is the put up or shut up year.
Yeah.
Like you've had 2 years to get your guys in, to get your system installed, whatever, but you got in there and within 2 years you already had to replace the OC. At the end of the season, if it's not going well, he might have to fire both coordinators, and that's the like, hey, you get to keep your job for 1 more year.
Yeah.
You got to get it together, but we need to see some coordinator changes. Also, Luke Fickell is I forgot that he coached the bowl game in 22 for Wisconsin after a whole season with Cincinnati. Cincinnati went 9-3. He resigns prior to the Fenway Bowl and coaches Wisconsin in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. I forgot about that.
I had forgotten about that too.
He was 7-6 his first year. He was 5-7 his second year. He is 2-0 so far this year. This is not what Wisconsin wants to be. Wisconsin's, if you're cruising along at 9-10 win seasons and you're losing to like the Michigans or the Ohio States, like they're mostly fine with that.
Yeah.
But if you're 7 wins, 5, like you didn't make a bowl game for the first time since. Actually, I don't even know the last time Wisconsin didn't make a bowl game. I can't think of a time when Wisconsin didn't make a bowl game. Last year was the first time in years. So
I remember the 1970s, so I do. But
that was different.
It was, and the expectations in Madison are the complete opposite of what they were. I remember as a kid. They would show up in Columbus, and Ohio State would beat them like 57-10, and just that was how things worked. And Barry Alvarez obviously is the guy who turned that around. Continued by Burt. Yeah, go ahead.
The last time Wisconsin didn't play in a bowl game was 1995.
Oof.
That's how you get your butt on the hot seat.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well, they were 9-3 Wisconsin. That's what we called them. 9-3 Wisconsin. Because they were
to whoever's yelling at their podcast app of choice right now. And by the way, you can find us wherever you find your podcast. Whoever's yelling at that right now and saying they didn't make it in 2001. You're right. I missed that year. Sorry. It's 2001.
Okay. Thank you. We do appreciate that.
But still, that's a long
thank you,
time.
Yelling people. It is a very long time. And, the fan base there obviously expects that kind of performance, and they're not seeing it so far. We take you now to 3:30 p.m. Saturday. A legit big one. Number 6 Georgia at number 15 Tennessee. Georgia is favored by 3.5 points. The AJ Fun Index is 49.5. Carla, we're going to start with you. How's this going to go?
Well, it sure seems like Tennessee ended up with the better end of that bargain in the unofficial trade with UCLA.
It does. It does.
I mean, Joey Aguilar has put up some big time numbers in his first 2 games wearing the orange. But so has the Georgia defense. The Georgia defense is doing Georgia defense things, right? Like that's what we always worry about. And they're ranked second in the conference in total defense, and they're really good against the run. Maybe a bit of a bend in the secondary, but like, we don't really know that yet for sure. So that's going to be what Aguilar and the receiving core will want to attack. You're going to want to see a nice dose of Aguilar if Tennessee's going to pick up the win here at home. Meanwhile, Gunnar Stockton, he's the dude that we all expected, right? The Georgia kid. Everybody's behind him.
I am not, by the way.
He may see more wiggle room defensively than the Tennessee offense will, because the Tennessee defense has not been as solid as you would really like to see in the first 2 games of the season. So because this game is always amped, because this game is in Neyland, I really do think Tennessee is going to keep this game close. But I still think that Georgia is the class of the SEC East, even though it's not really a thing anymore. I still think Georgia is the class of the East, and they're going to figure out a way to win this football game. But this atmosphere is always spicy. Like, it's worth watching. Put this game on your television, but dogs get the win on the road.
Okay. AJ, what you got?
I, for one, am absolutely disgusted that this game is happening in week 3. This is not a week 3 game. This is a late This is like a
November.
Post. Yeah, this is like an early November game. What are we doing playing this? Holly Anderson for the Shutdown Podcast is a lifelong Tennessee fan, and she has been livid about this scheduling thing in particular. In fact, there's a number of like weird scheduling quirks that are happening. Like Florida Tennessee is the second to last game of the season, not the third week or fourth week of the season. They
Okay.
moved Florida Tennessee to the end of the season. Like
Yeah,
the SEC
why?
schedule is super weird this year.
Yeah, this is usually Florida SEC week or Florida Tennessee week.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So instead of playing Florida, you get Georgia, and that
Wrong
doesn't
end of the
make it any
cocktail
better.
party.
Yes. The only game they actually kept, I think, in its original schedule is third week in October with Tennessee and Alabama, because I'm pretty sure they fear the mutiny of fans from both of those states that if you move that game, right?
Yeah, you can.
But this is something that I'm interested to see Gunnar Stockton against an SEC defense, because he's played Marshall and Austin Peay. That's not a terribly deep group to play against. Tennessee played at least Syracuse in week 1, and they looked great. And then they played East Tennessee last week, so it's not like they played any stronger, sterner talent. But this game is super interesting. By the way, this is your highest ticket game of the week. It's $325 to get into Neyland.
Okay.
So if you want to go watch that game, good luck. This feels much more like a pick'em. I could see this going either way. Tennessee gets up, their defense gets a little bit more aggressive. They can actually get some pressure on Stockton. Stockton hasn't seen proper pressure.
Right.
At a like full SEC starting game level. He came in the championship game after Beck got hurt, but it's not the same thing as like you've been the starter. They've been planning for you the whole time.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see how that goes. I think Georgia gets the win. I think Kirby found yet another group of mutants for defense. So, like, they'll keep it close enough that if Gunnar has not a great day, that he can get things done. But this has a real like strength against weakness situation, strength against strength situation with Joey Aguilar being a really good quarterback, playing a really good defense, Gunnar playing a not so great defense. Like there is who can be more effective against the other side. I'm interested to see this game. This will be on my TV. It'll be weird watching SEC football on my television.
Yeah.
I watch Mississippi State. Is it always like that? Is it always so loud and clangy? Is it always? No. Okay. I'll see what I can do. I'll try to find, what is this? ABC?
The American Broadcasting Company.
Gross.
If you look for that, you will find it. The thing about the schedules is a totally legitimate point. I mean, and there are Big Ten games. Oregon. I would not suggest you watch this unless you just want to like looking at Lake Michigan. But Oregon is going to Northwestern. I think that's a noon game as well.
It's Big Nude.
That's right. It's Big Nude. I will have that on a screen just if I'm able to, if I'm doing that to be able to look at Lake Michigan and to look at Oregon. But to have conference games this early is odd. To have conference games that have traditional kind of time slots or slots in the season is more odd, and that is exactly what's going on with this game.
That, by the way, that's an SEC thing. Very few Big
absolutely
Ten games
yes.
have like a distinct time. Like Penn State, Ohio State being around Halloween is like an ESPN machination that they made up because they were like, here's like a Big Ten helmet game that we can put in the middle of October against SEC programming. And obviously rivalry week at the end of the year with Ohio State and Michigan playing at noon. That's a very specific, like, that's it. I can't think of too many other games where it's like, oh, we have to, Indiana always plays Illinois on the second Saturday in November. Like, that doesn't exist.
It does
the
not.
SEC has those like specific scheduled times, which is why they're freaking out about it a lot more than Big Ten fans. So like Big Ten fans are like, okay, whatever, we're playing Wisconsin in September this year. I guess, sure. Because that's not a thing that's locked into their like routines of a season.
Exactly. So it is a much bigger deal for our friends in the southern sections of the United States. There is also a saying among our friends in the southern sections of the United States They will say something along the lines of they ain't played nobody. AJ, is that correct? Is that?
Yeah, and there's usually a Paul that goes along with that.
I was-
Paul ain't played nobody, Paul.
It's sort of implied, but yeah, that's
An
exactly
implied Paul, of course, the silent Paul.
The best kind.
It's right. The combined opponents in the first 2 weeks for these teams are Syracuse. Okay, Syracuse, sure. Marshall, East Tennessee, Austin P. What do you learn from this? I'm not sure. Yeah, Georgia looks like it has another terrifying defense. And yeah, Joey Aguilar looks like he has stepped in to the Tennessee offense and just sort of picked up where they left off. But against that level of competition, I'm not sure. I am not sure how that goes. After this game, we'll know something. This is it's weird to be talking to be able to say that this early in the season, as we've mentioned. But I think this will reveal a little bit about the two teams involved, and maybe as we get into the fourth weekend of college football, maybe there's some consequences that will go along with this game too, especially if we're talking about the conference matchups. I was a fan of Tennessee a year ago. I am not as bullish on them as I was, but I'm thinking that playing at home, just sort of the shock of having this matchup this early, and that's going to that's going to present some different circumstances. Does Gunnar Stockton handle it well? Don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Tennessee here. Just being at home, being an odd situation, and I think the Vols are going to get this win. Next up, perhaps not a game that is going to have super important national implications, but around these parts, it is a big deal. 3:30 on ESPN, the Backyard Brawl. Pitt at WVU. Pitt is favored by 6.5 points. The AJ Fund Index is a respectable 57.5. AJ, you get first crack at this one. What do you think?
They need to renew this. They need to renew this game. Don't let this go.
Got to be every year.
Just schedule the next 4. This has to be every year. I want some sort of federal action taken to ensure that this game, because it can't be a state thing. It's not like one of those things where it's like written into state law that like these two schools have to play each other. Do it, Pennsylvania legislature. Make Pitt and Penn State play too. Cowards. Anyways, Backyard Brawl is always good, and it is one of those great rivalries in which it doesn't like this is an actual true throw the records out game. Right. There are plenty of other games. There's so many things that could happen in Bedlam. All of them are Oklahoma winning. Like, this is not one of those games. Pitt and West Virginia will always find ways to ruin each other's seasons, sometimes in hilarious and late second fashion.
Yes.
This is a game I've had circled for quite some time because this game is Rich Rod's first Backyard Brawl back as head coach of WVU, and this game is happening on 9-13, which is the score he lost to Pitt by at his last Backyard Brawl. Again, the screenwriters are doing too much on-the-nose content. This is going to be an absolute fun game. You should absolutely put this on your TV. Will it be good? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if Pat Narduzzi is forced to score points or deal with Rich Rod trying to do goofy offense stuff, he's going to be so mad. Just the maddest person on earth. So I expect this to be potentially really hilarious for different reasons. West Virginia has played 2 teams this year. They've played Crappy's Ohio, and they've played mine, Carla, Robert Morris Colonials. Right? West Virginia has personally played this entire podcast. That's who they have played. They've not played nobody. They played the Carla and Crappy show. And this is not a good breed. This is not how you start your season, West Virginia. Don't play us. We're just people on the internet. Do yourself a favor. This game should be on your TV. I don't care who you are. If you're a Penn State fan, hate watch this game. You should.
Hell yes.
This is perfect Schadenfreude
Mm-hmm.
to just watch as a Penn State fan. So if you want to do that, just go like, I don't care who wins, but somebody's going to be mad. This is the way you should watch football. It's a great way to do it. I'm taking chaos. I'm going to go ahead and pick West Virginia here.
Nice.
No, for no reason other than that's the funnier outcome.
And to be 500 against the Carla and Crappy show, I'm not sure that's something you want to brag about. I don't.
No, you
know that.
definitely want to be 2-0 against the Carla and Crappy show. We do not come from football powerhouse schools.
Nope.
No, we don't.
Okay. If we had gone to like Crappy went to Ohio State and Carla went to Penn State and I went to, I don't know, act like Pitt or something, like we could have like real like going against us would be like those three schools. It would be easy to go against Pitt, but like Penn State and Ohio State are like ranked top 5 in the country. Sure.
Yeah.
That would be okay. It would be very impressive if you were 2-1 against this podcast, but you're not. You're playing against Ohio and Robert Morris. It's not the same thing. You should beat them.
Not good. Not good. Carla, what do you think about this?
As a Penn State fan, I am absolutely hate watching this game. And
Absolutely.
for those of you who are listening, some of my friends who have picked up listening to this show in the Metro Nashville region, I'm going to apologize to you all real quick here because I'm going to switch into Yinzer mode for just a moment, which I don't do very often. Why is this game not at night, Yins?
Excellent question. And that's really that's like my only beef about this game.
Yes.
And they didn't play. It's been daytime games, and
no.
It should
to continue your Yinzer accent because West Virginia don't have no power.
Right.
They don't have electricity. That's why I can't play the lights.
That's why they burn their couches.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's everything I've ever heard about West Virginia.
Absolutely. No, so the key to this game is really simple. Pat Narduzzi needs to go get tape from Ohio. Done. Because Ohio put on an absolute clinic against West Virginia last week, right?
Clinic might be a strong word.
But holding the WVU offense to 250 total yards while putting up 430 of their own, dominated the time of possession. Like, that's how you beat West Virginia, is doing those three things. And at least statistically speaking, the Pitt defense is capable of the same result here. They've only allowed 200 yards per game so far this season. Now, again, against whoever, but, that's something to take, one of those opponents was an FCS school. But this appears to be a prime opportunity for Pitt to steal a rivalry win on the road. So, take out your pens and papers and note that on the week 3 of the 2025 season of the Carla and Crappy Show, this Penn State fan is picking Pitt. It doesn't happen very often. It likely will never happen again. This is one of those rare occasions.
Illness is taking hold. Is what I'm hearing. Illness is taking deep hold, and we've lost Carla. That's not real Carla. You should have picked West Virginia. You should have just picked West Virginia out of pure haterdom. That's what happens in your chest.
I want to see my pure haterdom is I want to see Rich Rod lose the backyard brawl at home again.
Okay, that's fair. That's also hilarious.
That's a good point.
Also, while we were talking about like they don't have power and that's why they like couches, I just imagine like the stanchions around the stadium having couches on top of them that must be lit. I almost spit my water out thinking about like just them lighting one by one, light the lights of Gondor, but it's West Virginia couches, and they just like light them one by one as they go around the stadium, which would be really cool to see, but also kind of terrifying that there's burning furniture up there. But neither here nor there.
National friends, just go to Wikipedia, read up on the history of this. If you don't know the history of this rivalry, like this is
9-13. Let's start there.
Start there.
Also, hey Pitt fans, you like couches too. Settle down.
You do.
They do.
They don't want to hear that, but they do. Crappy, what do you think about this game?
When this came back, I was working. I was still working on the North Shore, which is the section of Pittsburgh where the ballparks are, where PNC Park is, where Acrisure, PNC, whatever, the Mustard Bowl. And one of the first games back for this rivalry, I was down there Maybe it was maybe it was a weeknight game. I don't know. I don't. But and the tailgate parties were getting rolling as I was packing up to go home, and I just sort of wandered around for a little bit to sort of take it in, and it was awesome. And it is a perfect reminder of what is so fantastic about college football, because there was the the intensity was evident, even as we're just drinking in parking lots. And there were a ton of WU fans, relatively friendly between the banter between the two groups. But it's like you feel the energy that is happening even at the tailgate parties, and then that will translate to the actual game. This is a legit rivalry. They have a history. You can start at 13-9. And then take a look. I gotta say, West Virginia looked like West Virginia's offense looked like it was struggling to pick up Rich Rod's concepts. It's really, really tempting to think like, oh yeah, he's back. Plug him in, and there the Mountaineers go, and it's not the case. And watching the game last weekend, I can at least attribute part of OU's success to just how much West Virginia's offense struggled. An upset at home would be fantastic. I don't see it. I'm going to pick Pitt in this game. Because I am for some reason required to pick a winner. But I would be actually cheering for West Virginia in this situation, and that's what I'm hoping for. But Panthers going to win this one.
Quick update: the ADs
Please.
of Pitt and WVU have already heard us, so this is the last game of this set. In 2025, 26, 27, and 28, there are no Pitt West Virginia games. 2029, we get another 4-game run. So 29, 30, 31, 32, Pitt West Virginia will play home and homes.
Okay.
Twice.
Okay.
Also, just weirdly, just seeing this, 2027, Pitt opens the season on the road against Wisconsin in Dublin, Ireland. I forgot they announced that game. So Pitt is the Ireland game in week 0 in 2027.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay.
Throw that out there.
Huh. That'll be fun. Or not. I don't know. Next up. And this is the game where you really need to have channel selection, availability. You need to have a handle on it. At 4:30 in the afternoon on the CW. Get this, folks. Number 18 South Florida at number 5 Miami. This could be a really good game. The Canes are favored by 18.5. The AJ Fun Index is 56.5. AJ's thinking no, that number's not working for him. But Carla, we're going to give you first crack at this game. You think South Florida and Miami, and you're like, but that is not the case this season.
That's what the television gods thought when they put this game on the CW.
Uh-huh.
Nobody was expecting South Florida to be 2-0 entering this game. They were predicting an 0-2 South Florida. But here we are, right? And I love that. I love the fact this game is on the CW. So like, we get it. South Florida is the early season Cinderella. 100%. They've taken that glass slipper and put it firmly on that foot. I love that for them. One of their big keys, though, to their win over Florida was a complete lack of discipline by the Gators.
Yes.
Like, Florida had 11 penalties, more than 100 yards, including those 2 huge ones in the final drive.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Will Miami also be undisciplined? Now, I'm not counting it out because they're Miami, right?
Right.
We've seen this from them before. But that's not something that USF can entirely control. Right? That's outside of their purview. They can get into their heads, but they can't actually make them be undisciplined. The other big factor in USF's win, Florida's total mismanagement of the clock at the end of the game. Like, USF should never have gotten that ball back to begin with, to be able to right? Again, will Miami suffer similar lapses in game management?
Seems
We've
like that's
seen it
happened before.
before.
This is a familiar thing.
This is a familiar thing in Miami, right? So I am absolutely not trying to take anything away from USF's remarkable start. But playing a third-ranked team in consecutive weeks is a lot to ask. Now, if we get bad first half Carson Beck for the entire game,
Yeah.
USF has a shot here. USF has a legit shot here. But sadly, I think the magic ends for the Bulls in Miami, which is also something that we have said before, but in a different sport. The U wins fairly comfortably.
Okay. AJ, what do you think about this one?
Carla with NBA lore. Wow. Out of nowhere. How dare you slander the Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls perpetually locked in the play-in game. I love the fact that this game is on God's CW network because it is, I can't tell you the phrase ranked USF playing ranked Miami on the CW is not something that the NFL mind can comprehend.
No.
It is unable to parse this. That's what makes our sport so much better than the NFL. I saw highlights from the NFL and I'm like, look at this camera work. Look at how clear it is. Look at all this like extra crap they're putting. No, get this out of my face. I'm disgusted right now. In fact, every time I see a game on NBC, I watched a lot of the overtime of Boston College and Michigan State last week. And it is an NFL game with college teams. Like the broadcast is an NFL broadcast.
Yes.
And if it doesn't feel right, like I need a little bit of grime to it. This is why I love my Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, because it's on Spectrum still. So it's like, oh, I'm getting that like good local feed. This is a big high school game and I love that.
Right.
So I will say I don't believe the Magic's gone yet. Because I think Miami is feeling comfortable. And Carla, you mentioned that the USF got some luck in some, late game clock management problems. And man, if there is one coach who embodies not understanding the concept of linear time, it is Mario Cristobal.
Yes, it is.
And I, for one, am excited to see new innovations in the space from this man. Can USF actually pull this off? I think so. If USF pulls this off, if they beat Florida and Miami in consecutive weeks, I can't remember. Does South Florida have Florida State on the schedule? I can't remember if they do or not. Let me take a quick peek. They don't. I'm just going to go ahead and claim them as state champions because they will have already beaten Florida and Miami. Yeah. Miami and Florida State and Florida all do play each other. They do. The whole triangle does play each other. USF become the kings of actual South Florida. Go beat the Miami Hurricanes. I'm picking the Bulls.
Woo! It is doable, and for all the reasons, Carla, that you outlined, that they were in that game in the swamp. Undisciplined play. Does Miami ever do that? I don't know. Poor clock management, AJ. As you said, the very concept was mastered by Mario. It's not likely. Miami has a nice win already. If the defense is really able to key on Byram Brown, it should be a win. Should be a win for the Hurricanes. It's not what I'm pulling for. It is what I think will probably happen. But if Carson Beck gets a slow start, as he often does, and if Miami suffers some of the mental lapses, whether it's on the field or on the sideline, that it often does. This could still be a game. This could still be a game late, and man, if it is, make sure you are not missing it, because you could be missing one of the most incredible early season runs that we have seen in a very, very long time.
I would just like to do a quick schedule look,
Yeah.
because coming up, so Miami plays South Florida this week. Next week they get Florida at home.
Okay.
They get a bye week, and the week after that they go to Tallahassee to play Florida State. Miami's playing the entire state of Florida.
It's right there.
In the next 4 weeks. Do we have a look ahead possibility here? Like, I definitely want to beat Florida. I'll maybe do some overlooking of a ranked USF. I can't imagine a ranked USF would cause that problem.
Yeah.
Also, USF this isn't like, we're calling it Cinderella, but this is a reminder that USF gave Alabama some deep indigestion the last 2 years.
True.
Alex Galesh is a great coach. He's going to get some big offers this offseason, probably.
Yeah. I think he's already sealed that, yes.
So I'm interested to see if they, can Miami actually navigate the, Florida minefield that they have set in their schedule here. And also, if they do, and everybody gets really excited about Miami, Friday at home against Louisville, that's where they trip over themselves. Oh my God, that's got upset all over.
Yeah, that's a
weird day.
That's great.
A potentially good, good to not good team coming in, an unknowable team in Louisville. Amazing. Hey, do we, speaking of Florida, do we have any thoughts about Florida at LSU?
In fact, I was just about to ask you at 7:30 again on the American Broadcasting Company, Florida, unranked Florida, at the number 3 LSU Tigers. The Tigers are favored by 8.5 points. The AJ Fund Index is 54.5. And AJ, it's your turn. You're up.
We talked about this last week. Hey, Florida, you got to beat South Florida because your schedule coming up is absolute death. There's no oh yeah, you got another win. You got another 4 or 5 wins here, no problem. It is week after week after week of death. And this is when it all starts. You get LSU, and then you get Miami, and then I think they play someone else. I forget who they play. They play
it continues. It continues for sure.
They play 3 top 10 teams in the next 3 weeks. LSU has looked incredibly suspect this year. No one wants to say that right now because they're ranked number 3, and they beat Clemson, and everybody was very, very excited. And it was mostly due to the fact that Brian Kelly didn't make a late game management decision that cost him something. And it was week 1, and it was sloppy until the second half. Anybody want to take a quick guess as to what the LSU score was last week? They played Louisiana Tech, so it's not like they played the best team in the world.
I recall it being sort of Clemson-esque in that not super impressive.
23-7.
Yeah.
LSU is the number 3 team in the country, and no shots at our beloved CUSA, but you beat a CUSA team at home 23-7. Really? That's it? You didn't Garrett Nussmeier 26-41 for a TD and an INT? What are we doing here, LSU? They do not have that offense in gear in any way, shape, or form. And I don't think Florida's going to go into Death Valley at night and go get a win, but this is going to be some distinct indigestion to the point where maybe Brian Kelly gets a little too purple and loses a little bit.
Matching his
maybe
shirt.
Florida looks really, really good, and people kind of get back on the Billy bandwagon, and they say, okay, he looked they lost to USF at home after some really bad game management, but they looked really, really competitive and almost beat a very, a number 3 LSU team in Baton Rouge at night. Sure. I don't think it's going to happen. It would be hilarious if it did. You lost to USF at home, but then you went into Baton Rouge on a Saturday night and beat LSU. That would be insane.
It would be.
You know what? Sure. I'll pick the Gators.
Okay.
That sounds way more interesting.
To refresh everyone's memory about the next month and a half for the Florida Gators, we are at LSU. We have Texas at home. We are at Texas A&M. We have Mississippi State. Who knows? And then we have Georgia on November 1st. So that's what they're looking at. Carla, without dissecting that entire schedule, how are the Gators going to do in Baton Rouge?
I have no freaking clue.
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
fair.
really, right? Because like what we saw in the swamp last week is absolutely not the look of a national contender, right? Which is what we thought Florida had the capability of being this year. It's not even, to be perfectly frank, it's not even look of a team looking to make a bowl appearance if you don't clean up the penalties and clean up the discipline and clean up the clock management, right? It's just an undisciplined performance all the way around against arguably, as you just mentioned, their last quote unquote, very much using air quotes here, friends, easy opponent,
Right.
because that's what USF normally would have been on the schedule, right? This doesn't bode well at all for Florida entering this gauntlet of a schedule, let alone Napier. I mean, you were hoping that maybe he was going to get off the hot seat. Now he's squarely back on it, right? I really want this game Saturday night in Death Valley to be competitive. I really want Florida to bounce back in one of college football's toughest environments at night and come away with a win. That's really what I want here. I don't see it. I don't see it. I needed to see a win last week to know whether or not Florida was actually going to be competitive. Had they beaten USF, come in with a little bit of confidence, as AJ mentioned, LSU, fine. Are they the number 3 team in the country? I'm not sold yet. There would have been a really great opportunity here, I think, for Florida to go into Death Valley and pick up a big win and get that momentum. I don't see it happening now. My only caveat here is that we do still have the big game Brian Kelly curse, right? So there is that.
Right.
But everything else here says that this is a Tigers win. So
Didn't he break the curse against Clemson?
Is the curse broken?
is the curse broken? Does that really count,
mean,
though?
Listen, I'm not a witch. What are you asking me for? I just felt like, okay, if he couldn't win a big game, you can't.
Somebody have a phone
and then
number
he
for a
beats
witch
Clemson.
in New Orleans?
Yeah,
Anybody?
They exist. They exist.
Listen, there's probably a bunch. I bet that's a section of the Louisiana phone book. I believe it.
Don't touch that. That's voodoo stuff. Don't. Carla, let me ask you this. It would as you are married to a former sports writer who is also a Florida alum.
Yes.
Would competitive be enough in this game to kind of pacify the folks who were so annoyed at the end of last week's game?
Maybe temporarily.
Okay.
Band-aids. Like I think it would be a Band-aid. He would get a pass for another week, but like that's the problem with as tough as the next 3 games
Doesn't
are.
have a break. Yeah.
He doesn't have a break, right? So like he might get a reprieve if Florida loses this game by 3, like a walk-off kick by LSU, because it feels like that could be that's happened before in this game. Yeah. So you get a walk-off kick by LSU to win the game at home. Everyone's like, okay, they were competitive. We'll hang on. If they go out next week and get their butts kicked by Texas, he's right back in that hot seat.
Okay.
And so it's really, I mean, it's the SEC mentality, and we're seeing it now more in the Big Ten of the what have you done for me lately. That's really kind of the mentality right now. The what have you done for me lately was garbage, and so that's why everybody is piling on him right now. So can he dig himself out of the garbage can in Death Valley? That's a huge ask, and it's a huge ask of DJ Lagway. I'm gonna be really interested to see how he responds to this.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think it would be a temporary like placation of the fan base, but no, he's not off the hot seat.
Okay. 2 ways to look at last week's game. Did South Florida explode? They did. Did South Florida expose the Gators, or was this largely a problem created by the Gators themselves that South Florida took advantage of? It's both. South Florida's a very good team, but the element that Florida was responsible for the outcome of that game, I think, is a very important way to look at it. Either way, if it's the former, there is hope that Florida could make this. If it's the latter, if this was up here for the Gators, and that stuff has been fixed. They are more focused. No, they're going into a really, really tough game. They could make this competitive thing. Could they win? I'm not sure. If it's the latter, this won't be good. This won't be good. And if it's not good this week, it will be not good next week and the week after and the week after and the week after. A competitive game would be awesome. And that is a possibility. I do see LSU winning this one at home. And we'll see what happens with Billy Napier and his guys as they continue that gauntlet that they have. Also at 7:30 on NBC, number 16 Texas A&M at number 8 Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 6.5 points. The AJ Fun Index is 50.5. Carla, what do you think about this?
This was a great game last year in College Station. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what this 2025 edition brings us. I'm intrigued because the Irish are relatively heavy favorites at home. I mean, we're not talking about a full touchdown. They lost to Miami in week 1 and then had a bye. What do we know about Notre Dame, right? How does CJ Carr fare against a potentially another good defense? I don't know. Like, he didn't get that week against the Cupcake or any other competition to gain any sort of confidence in his offensive system. So you still have a relatively untested quarterback going up against arguably a really good team out of the SEC, right? The Aggies had identical results, basically, against 2 mid-level opponents in UTSA and Utah State. That's not top-tier competition, but it's something. They haven't, at least so far, been great at stopping the run. That's not great if you're going up against Jeremiah Love. What the Aggies have been good at is passing the ball. The offense thus far has been all Marcel Reed, whether it's with his arms or his legs. He got dinged up last week, but Mike Elko says that he's ready to go. So we'll see how that impacts him. This is another one of those games that I didn't pick. To me, this feels like a pick 'em. Just like we've talked about a number of other games, this game really feels like a pick'em to me. I'll give the edge to Notre Dame playing at home with Jeremiah Love against an Aggie defense that so far has not been great at stopping the run. I think that's the difference here. This game should be close, competitive. It should be a fun one to watch. It might be low scoring. Like this says to me that it's a bit of a low scoring affair. But I'll take the Irish at home hesitantly.
Okay. AJ?
You're absolutely right. Like, I don't know anything about this Notre Dame team. I don't really know anything. They have because they got that that week 2 bye. It was Miami and then Texas A&M. Here's the thing: the rest of their schedule is lining up as a fine schedule. Like, they have to make noise against Miami and Texas A&M. Otherwise, there's not really a ton of other, they play Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, and then Boston College. There's not really a ton of big names on. They played Navy this year, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. There's no big names on the schedule after this. I feel like they know that either a one-loss Notre Dame team with a win over Texas A&M, and that loss was to Miami in week 1 by 3. That's a fairly even game.
Yeah.
Was that in South Bend? No, that was at Miami.
It's Miami.
So, okay, yeah, that's the normal 3-point spread. The normal 3-point spread that you get being a home team. So, yeah, that was effectively a pick'em game based on lines. I feel like they have to come out here. I do wonder if they've fixed some of the things, because CJ Carr did not look comfortable against Miami. It's not going to be any more comfortable against Texas A&M. I almost want to say in College Station. I realized it's in South Bend. I think Notre Dame has the better overall team. I think they have the better running game. It's going to come down to, can CJ Carr actually look confident in the pocket. If he can look confident in the pocket, this is Notre Dame's game. Um, this is at night on NBC/Peacock. You may need to find your Peacock game app to find this, but this is, I think, an interesting one, especially given the fact that this is in that like late game slate. We'll see some things during the day. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Irish here.
Okay.
As much as the Aggies are interesting, this game, being a College Station like it was last year, would have been more interesting to pick A&M.
Okay. I think to varying degrees, we have all confessed to be impressed by Marcus Freeman. I think he's the best head coach that Notre Dame has had in a while. If he has taken this week off, this early bye, and kind of addressed some of the problems, whatever was identified by the Notre Dame coaching staff when they played Miami, you figure out how to take your young quarterback and put him in situations where it's not hard to be successful. That's going to mean running the ball a lot, making sure that is established, and then working from that. Combine that with, I gotta tell you, the atmosphere in Notre Dame Stadium for a night game, for a ranked night game. It's good. It is impressive. No reason to think that would not be the case on Saturday. I think those things will give the Irish the edge in this game, and I think they will pull out a win. That AJ, you're exactly right. That they need going into a schedule that's sort of need to make an impression. Last one that we're going to talk about, and certainly important for our purposes, at 7:45 on the SEC network. Vanderbilt at number 11, South Carolina. The Gamecocks are favored by 5.5 points. The AJ Fun Index is 48.5. AJ, you're up. What do you think?
This game is this is just entertainment. They should just label this game as entertainment.
Okay.
You should not be allowed to bet on this game. You should just be allowed to enjoy this game. For those of you who have to bet on games in order to enjoy them, log off. Diego Pavia is doing Diego Pavia things again. Watching that the Vandy Virginia Tech game last week, I was watching Virginia Tech fans go, "Oh, he's doing it again." Oh no, he's doing it again. Oh, he's doing it to my team. I like him, and he's doing it. No, here he goes again. This is the thing about Vandy right now. With Diego Pavia and with Clark Lee, they just look competent. They look like a well-managed football team. If you would like to see that same thing, but with more talent, please look at your South Carolina Gamecocks, because they are also just a generally competent football team. This is refreshing that Vandy, South Carolina, which would have previously been like, okay, here's your Jefferson Pilot game at noon. We're going to bear this thing somewhere else. You don't need to see this. Is the 7:45 SEC network game. I love that. I think this is going to be really, really entertaining. I think South Carolina gets it done at home. This is not any disrespect to Diego Pavia. Please do not come after me or my family. You will terrify them. But I think South Carolina gets a win here. They're the same team. South Carolina just has more talent, and I'm going to go with more talent here.
Okay. Carla, it's your hometown, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I apologize to my Doors fans who last week I was hedging my bet a little bit going into Blacksburg. I was nervous about that game, but Diego struck again. Sandman be damned. I mean, and he looked great.
Yeah.
I mean, he just looked. Both sides of Vanderbilt looked amazing in that game, and that game was over early.
Yeah.
Like fourth quarter, the stadium was empty. That's not something that you could say two things that you could never say about Vanderbilt football have happened already in weeks 1 and 2. In week 1, they sold out a game at home and they weren't playing a big time opponent.
Right.
And the whole reason why that's a big deal is because usually it's the visitors that sell out Vanderbilt Stadium. Right. So you had that in week 1, and then in week 2, on the road, Vanderbilt cleared a stadium before the fourth quarter.
Not bad.
They're building momentum. Clark Lee is doing something remarkable. Yes, a lot of it is Diego Pavia, but it's not just Diego Pavia. It is Clark Lee building that locker room, and they're doing remarkable things. This is a really tough ask. I totally agree with AJ's assessment here that, yeah, they're kind of mirror images of each other, but South Carolina, all across the line has more talent. This is a game that South Carolina should win at home. One thing here to keep an eye on, though.
Yes.
We talk a lot about Vanderbilt's offense. Vandy's defense is 6th in the nation right now in total defense.
Nice.
That's impressive when you consider who they've played.
Yeah.
Right? So the Vanderbilt defense is up for the challenge. I think this game is super, super, super close. It would not stun me at all if Vanderbilt leaves South Carolina with a win, but I think the pick here is South Carolina because they're looking to make a statement. Now there's a bit of a void in conversation in the SEC with Florida kind of falling out. South Carolina wants to step in and be like, hey, pick us. Right? Like they're wanting to seize the spotlight, seize the opportunity. They see this opportunity, and I think they're able to capitalize on it. But this game is tight. It's close. It's entertaining as heck. And yeah, get your eyeballs on this game on Saturday night.
Okay. Our typical goal is to get Vanderbilt in a bowl game. And I'm after the win in Blacksburg, I'm wondering if we should aim higher. I mean, I don't know what that looks like necessarily, but it feels like this year in particular, a 12th year senior, Diego, and all the experience counts, and the Doors have it in the right places. They have an excellent coaching staff. South Carolina quarterback Lenore Sellers, he has all the tools. Still a young guy, but he will have the comfort, and he will have the comfort of playing at home. I think the smart pick is to pick South Carolina. But as both of you have said, this could be a tight game. It's going to be fun. Make sure you're watching. And don't necessarily be surprised if Vandy's hanging around at the end to really make this uncomfortable for the Gamecocks. Boys and girls, you can hear the Carla and Crappy Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and a variety of other podcasting hosts. You can watch us on YouTube and on the show's Facebook page, and watch us twice. That'd be great. You can read us on our Substack. You can watch us there too, so that would be 3 times. If you like us, please subscribe, rate, and review. If you don't mind your own damn business, and be sure to come back next week when we probably won't be as right as we were last week. But who knows? It happens sometimes. Final thoughts, AJ. What you got?
I missed the game early on in in the G5 After Dark report, and I regret this error, but it does give us a chance to say our favorite phrase.
Please.
At 8 p.m. on CBSSN, the network of
Champions.
Utah goes on the road to Powder River, and they're playing Wyoming and Laramie.
Oh,
Devin
thank you
Dampier, please come back with your legs. Come back with those, please.
Yes.
This was on one of the broadcasts last week where they basically showed like all of these various like power like P4 teams who go to Wyoming and come back with an L. Like Ole Miss did it at one point. Ole Miss, what are you doing scheduling Wyoming? A home and home Wyoming. What are you doing?
It's like a Dakota.
Like which one of your boosters said, I want to see mountains? Which one of you did that? I think Utah playing at Wyoming is just delightful. Utah's favored by 23.5. Wyoming's not the Wyoming you think it is.
Okay.
But man, if there was ever a game to be like, listen, if Wyoming beats Utah, but UCLA couldn't do it, hilarious. I love that. So I'm just saying that might be a game to keep an eye on. There was another game that I was also looking for what's the highest fun index of the week, and I believe it is the Oregon State Texas Tech game at 62.5. The other one that caught my eye was Arkansas Ole Miss is this week. Again, another game that should not be played this early in the season, but here we are.
Yes.
That fun index is 60.5.
Ooh.
That game is stupid every year. Just put that, like, if you see that in your like listing, just go ahead and like slide that one in because that game always gets dumb. And also, those two fan bases are very close to one another, and most people don't recognize that.
Yes. Yes. Carla, what final thoughts do you have?
And I have to follow that up. I'm going to follow this up with two very quick notes about my beloveds. Villanova at number 2 Penn State. That game's at 3:30 Eastern on FS1. No need to really talk much about that game
Because we already know what the score is.
because we already know what the score is. Thanks, ChatGPT. And then my employer and my students, MTSU at Nevada. That game is at 5 Eastern. Again, thanks to AJ's astute sleuthing. This game is on the MW.com. So if you have not yet set up your account on the Mountain West Network, go do that so that you can watch part of this game to make sure that you've got that all functioning. Again, this is like weird television week. Maybe Middle's got a shot here. Nevada's favored pretty heavily, but like we'll see how they come out. It would be really nice to get Middle a win before homecoming.
That'd be cool.
We'll see.
Okay. A couple things for me. I need to touch on the Carnegie Mellon Tartans, who in the Intelligence Bowl shut out the University of Chicago 20-0 at Chicago last weekend. This is an interesting early season matchup that I may attend. I'm getting the double jab on Friday. If I'm feeling up to it, I will go watch this game in person at noon. In lovely Giesling Stadium in the lovely Oakland neighborhood of Pittsburgh. The number 16 Tartans play the number 9 Wisconsin Lacrosse. Ranked matchup, D3, to start. Interesting way to kind of make sure you have your attention. Football has your attention before you start conference play in your brand new conference next weekend. So that's going to be a fun, interesting matchup. And then in Columbus, on Saturday night, under the lights of the Horseshoe, on national-ish television, it's on Peacock. Parker Navarro and the Ohio Bobcats roll into Ohio Stadium to claim their rightful spot on top of the college football world in the state of Ohio. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. But it's going to be fun. It always is. I've gone to, this is the fourth time the teams have played. I've been to two of them. It is a blast. As the OHIO chant goes around the stadium in Columbus, the block of OU fans wait until the second O and then go, you! Which is, I just love it. One really cool thing for the fans in Columbus, 1 week after having the pleasure of seeing the world-famed Tiger Band from Grambling, they will get to see the unquestioned best band in the state, the Ohio University Marching 110. And the two bands, OU 110 and Tibiddle, as Ohio State's band is known, actually just announced today that there will be some sort of combined halftime show with the two bands, if nothing else, your homework is to look up the halftime show on YouTube when you get up Sunday morning. I promise you, it's going to be good. Probably
on the Mountain West app.
Yes.
Southern is going to Fresno State. Mountain West app. I swear on everything. If you don't show the Southern band on themw.com, I'm going to come out to the Mountain West, enjoy the scenery, and you're going to catch hands. Put the jukebox on. Put the jukebox on the Mountain West Network. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm asking.
Mm-hmm. Put the bands on, guys. I mean, come on. It's one of the things that makes college football great. We don't need endless analysis in halftime. Put the bands on. Just put them on. That is the right thing to do. Boys and girls, thank you for joining us. We appreciate everything that you guys do, watching, reading, listening, and then watching 2 or 3 times more. That is always a nice thing. We thank you for joining us once again. AJ and Carla, thank you guys for joining us from Nashville and Texas, and wherever it is that you guys are. Everyone, enjoy your games this weekend, and be sure to come back next week. We will do this all over again. Cheers, Jens. Go Cats.